Hi everyone, it's Monique at Butterbee Scraps. Thought since I'm making videos and I got the nice black sheet on my desk, I should continue something I started back in April, and that's a tutorial series on my crocheted flowers. I've had many requests for this, and so I thought I should finish up. So this particular video I'm going to be showing one of my 3 favorite flowers. This one is probably my absolute favorite. It's this guy here. I find it's the most forgiving in terms of, if you're just a beginner, it's sometimes hard to get consistent tension on your wool, and that's okay because you won't even notice it with this flower. It's also very, very versatile. There's a lot of flexibility with this flower. Now I actually learned to make this flower from Sonia over at catcrazycreations, so I'm going to put a link to her video down at the bottom of this one, just so you can go and view her video. She does a fantastic job of teaching how to do this. So I'm going to breeze through pretty quickly and then show you some variations that I've come up with that she doesn't go over in her video. So first I'm going to start with a slip knot, and here I'm using a 5mm needle with number 4 medium wool. I normally like using a finer wool, this one here, but I just thought it's easier to see what I'm doing with the larger wool. So the first thing you want to do is create a chain of 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, my wool's getting stuck on my hands. Okay. Then you wrap this around, go through the loop of the first chain stitch and do a slip stitch just to create a loop there. And I do a single chain just to secure that. Now what you want to do is create a series of single crochets through the center of this loop. And I usually go for about 12. So I'll just do 12 here. Remember, single crochet, go through the center, bring a piece through, so you have 2 loops on your hook, go yarn over your hook and through both. And now I've lost track of the number of single crochets that I'm doing, but that's okay. Oops. Basically you want to do the right number of single crochets to bring you right around to the start of your loop. If you want to add more, you can always push these stitches back as well. So anyway, I think I'm done there. So you can see here the top of the stitches, there's a front and a back to them. And what you want to do is you want to go into the front one of that first stitch. Oops. And this, making it look more difficult than it really is. My thread, I think, was a bit tight there, so you do a slip stitch. Then you chain 5. And you do a slip stitch in just the front loop of the next single crochet. And you do that all the way around. Slip stitch in the next, I'm having problems here. And then chain 5, and you go all the way around. So I'm just going to pause the movie and I'll come back when I'm done going all the way around the circle. Okay, so I finished making loops around the entire circumference of the circle in the front loop of each of those single crochets. So now what you want to do is you can flip it over and you can see here's the back side of all those single crochet stitches. So I've got my last chain 5 here from the front. So then you go to the back, slip your needle through the back here. Ugh. Guys, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm having so many problems today. Slip stitch, and now what you do is you chain 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you slip stitch into the next single crochet. Chain 6, sorry, this wool is sticking to my hands. Slip stitch into the next one, and you do that around the entire circle. So I'll finish that and I'll come back and show you how to finish off the flower. Okay, so now I'm done my second row of petals, and this is my last loop. I've chained 6, and what I do is I go into the back side of that single crochet where we started the second row. I do a slip stitch, and then I secure the end of my yarn. So I pull through, make this loop big, cut it off, and there you have it. There's your flower. So here's where I'm going to slow down a little bit because I want to show you the different variations you can make on this flower. First of all, you can change the size quite easily on this flower. First thing you can do is create a looser stitch to create a larger flower, and a looser stitch, all you need to do is use a larger needle. Likewise, you can use a smaller needle to create a tighter stitch and a smaller flower. So if you look here, I forget what yarn size this is, but this is one where I've used quite a large needle, same yarn, and I used a smaller needle, and you can see the difference. Also, this one looks a little bit fluffier. You can see the stitches are quite a lot looser. So that's one way that you can change the size. Another way you can change the size is when you make this first loop, you can add more single crochets and make the flower look more full. Another way is to change your yarn thickness. If you use a thicker yarn, you're going to get a larger flower, and that's largely because you need to use a larger needle as well. And also you can use any combination of the above, so obviously thicker yarn with a really thick needle is going to create a large one. Here's another example of where I've used just a fine crochet thread and a really large needle to create a really loose stitch. So even though this yarn is quite a bit thinner than this, the size is almost as large as this one here. So anyway, here are several examples of where I varied the thickness of the yarn and the size of the stitch. The other variation on this flower is you can do dual colors. So you can have a different color for each layer. And I'm going to show you how to do this. So here I've started by creating a center, and all I did was I did my loop, did my single crochets in the loop, and I did my chain 5 loops all around the front of the ring. So you can see there's a second part of the single crochet stitch there. So what I'm going to do here is, rather than continue with the second row, I am going to go into this first single crochet, the back of the first single crochet, and I'm going to do a slip stitch, oops, and finish this guy off. So you have a single layer flower. Now what I'm going to do is I'll take my second color and go through the back of one of those single crochets, and I just pull a loop through, and then I take both ends of this wool, come through here. Sorry, I'm in an awkward position here. There we go. If you pull that tight, that second color is now secured to the back. And then what I do is I do my chain 6, go into the next single crochet with a slip stitch, chain 6, go in the next chain, and I continue that all the way around. So I'll do that and come back in just a minute. Okay, so I'm done going around the entire perimeter of the circle, and this is my last set of chain 6, and all I do is I go in the back of that first single crochet, do a slip stitch, and finish it off, and we're done. And we got a dual color flower. The other thing you can do to change this is you can do fewer number of chains. If you want a smaller center on this, you can do, like, say, chain 3 in the center, so you'll have a smaller white and the pink would be quite a bit larger. So there's an idea I just came up with now. The last way that you can vary this flower is to create more layers. So you see I have 3 layers on this one. So I'll show you how I did that one. So what I've done here is I've already started a flower, and I've got the first round done. I used just the basic chain 5. Now what I do, rather than slip stitching in this first stitch, I do a single crochet, like so, and I do that all the way around the back. A single crochet in each of the back loops around the perimeter of the flower. Just like this. Oops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go finish going around the back of this flower, and I'll come back so that you can see what it does. Okay, so I'm done going around the back with my single crochets, and I'm just going to pull the end through here. So you see what it's done is it's taken that single stitch you had, and it's now given you 2 rows. You've got the front and the back of these single crochet stitches to add more layers. So all you do is you go into the front of your first single crochet, do a slip stitch, chain 6, go into the front of your next single crochet, chain 6, and go all the way around. Once you're done that, you will then go into the back of the stitch and you'll chain 7. So I just add 1 chain for every revolution. And if you want to add a 4th layer, instead of chaining 7, you'll do another row of single crochets. But I think for scrapbooking, 3 is about as thick as I'd want to go. And particularly with this yarn size, I would not go more than 2. So anyway, there you have it. A lot of variations. You can combine a lot of them. You could have 3 layers of 3 different colors. You can, there's just a variety of different things here. I've done 2 colors and a tighter tension on the front, looser on the back. So I used a smaller needle when I did the front, larger needle on the back. All sorts of different things you can do with one pattern. And the best thing about it is this is the best one for beginners, because like I said before, if your tension isn't consistent, totally okay, you won't even notice. So anyway, thanks for watching. have a great day, and stay tuned for my next video, which will show you a different style flower. Bye for now.